Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to bring you this week's podcast episode with Jenny. Jenny is a client of mine who had alopecia areata, first time ever in her life. And she's in her 40s. She's a busy mom. And at the same time, she's also very athletic, very fit. And all of a sudden was diagnosed with alopecia areata. She didn't know where this came from. She dabbled with medications, dabbled with doctors for a year or two before coming to the Alopecia Angel program, the Hair and Heal. And this is where she saw results. And what makes this success story incredible is that she tells me here in this podcast that I saved her $12 to $15,000 on a bunch of treatments and a bunch of medications and on a bunch of things that not only would have cost her financially, but also would have cost her health, also would have cost her more grief, more stress, more angst, more depression, and so much more. And so she is a true thriver and a true success story because she found me, she grabbed it by the horns, and she healed. And she's here to tell you all about it so you can be inspired and really see how this is life changing and it's beyond the hair. It's really from the inside out and how anyone can do this. It's really simple once you start following the steps and the path needed. I would also say that we just concluded our 3-part series training on how to heal and reverse alopecia. You would want to subscribe to YouTube or to the podcast to be sure that you are in the know for the next one that happens. And so this way you can be in the know and have first dibs on it. Thank you so much. Take care and listen in here. So, Jenny, thank you so much for joining me today on the Alopecia Angel podcast. I am so excited to share your story and have our listeners know really, how life is before, during, and after alopecia. Because I know in the beginning, you and I, we had a consultation. You were hesitant. You were almost scratching your head a little bit of like, I've seen doctors and done the medication, yet none of this is working. Now you want me to try the natural approach. And I was like, yeah, it's gonna work. Trust me. And I know trust is hard. I know trust today is so hard um, because there's so much marketing, because there's so much lies and fakeness out there, because there's so much now AI, and there's just so
Mhm.
much to be skeptical about. And so take us back to when you were first diagnosed with alopecia, and then that year or two of going through all the motions, seeing doctors, and then finding me, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to recap this story. When I think about it, I'm like, man, there's a lot of things that happened in this time frame, and like, well, I'm trying to remember all the emotions and the things I was going through. It was a pretty stressful time in my family and my life. So I was carrying a lot of weight for my family, and I know my hairdresser noticed a spot on my head, which was very just odd and shocking. And I kind of went down a rabbit hole right after that, and I was like buying all the supplements and all the vitamins and all the things, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be fine, but I did get nervous and started doing all the research. And then as that spot progressively got a little, it just kept getting worse. It was getting more and more concerning, and went to the dermatologist, and that's where they start, yeah, prescribing the things or doing the treatments, the shots in the head and this and that, and then you can try this topical and this jack. And I was going through just so many different things that I was praying that would work, and not trying to get sold on like anything that popped up on social media, because it was like, now that I'm researching, everything is showing up like, this will help hair loss, this will help hair loss, this will help hair loss. And I mean, it was very stressful, and I didn't feel like anything was working the way it should be. So if anything, it was getting worse, and that just makes you more stressed and more frustrated. And I think I was doing those treatments and different things for probably about a year or so, and that's when after a lot of research, I found Alopecia Angel, and that's when I started digging in. And so, yes, it was a little like, could this work? But I was so desperate for something that worked. I wanted to give it a try, because I couldn't believe I was spending as much money as I was spending on the treatments that I was trying, and all the different things I was doing, and wasn't happy with the results. I might have saw a little hair growth here and there, but then I'd find another spot, or it would expand and get bigger. And it wasn't helping the situation.
Outside of just the hair loss and the spots that kept on growing, what other symptoms or health situations did you see that either sprouted up or that were lingering or ongoing?
Yeah. More recently, I'm in my 40s now, and I had felt like, it was a little bit harder. I'd always been an athlete, and it was just a little bit harder to maintain the weight I wanted and keep that shape and body and feel good. I was feeling tired and sluggish a lot. And I've always been a little bit more prone to headaches and migraines, so that was a thing. And when I started this program, I thought, okay, if I can just do, because it's a little overwhelming at first. I'm like, okay, when you first get in and you learn all the amazing things that you teach in the training, you want to do it all, but it knowing like, okay, I got to start slow and start somewhere. So I took little bits and pieces of each thing, but as you did that and I built on that, it became like, oh my gosh, I feel a lot better. I don't have near as many headaches. I am feeling much more refreshed in the morning. I completely took out a lot of the things that you suggested. It does seem to change your body. And then in that process, I lost about 15 pounds. So that made me happy too.
There's always a bonus. There's
Yep.
always a bonus. It's not just the hair, there's everything else that comes along with it.
Yeah, and
So
that was something I was frustrated with for a while. So it was nice to like also get something back to my much more appropriate weight, I felt like. So
excellent. So when you started the program, what nudged you over the fence to say, yeah, I want to do this?
yeah, I mean, I had really spent a lot of time to just like in prayer and trying to figure out, like, ask for some guidance on where should I go, and why is this happening to me, kind of situation. Like, why me, and what lesson am I? Yes, I mean, you and I have talked before, even like what lesson am I learning from this, and what can I take from this? Who can I help? Whatever. And I did really feel like God kind of led me to this program and to you, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it as best I can. And I was really thankful to come across all of those resources. I think everybody probably handles it a little bit differently and does different pieces of the program, but you do get what you put, out of it, what you put into it. So I will say there has been some trials of mine where I've been through some, man, I'm strict and I'm doing really good. And then I have Christmas season or something like that, or I have, I do really good for 2 months and I'm kind of, I'm on the road a lot with my kids and we're running to sports and I may be not making as best of choices. It's really looking good. So I'm really pleased with seeing more hair come back. That just made me feel like, okay, yep, this does work. And just sticking with it.
Biology.
Yeah.
And that's just it. This is all rooted in your biology and in science. And so for sure it does work. And it's us who need to work it. Just like any science experiment, we are the
Mhm.
experiment and the results are there. So tell me, what were some of the feelings when you first started seeing hair growth? And in what week did you start seeing hair growth in the program?
Yeah, yeah. I can't pinpoint exactly, but gosh, I would say probably within the first month, I probably started to see like some of those baby hairs. Like I would part my hair in a certain way and you'd see the little tiny ones sticking up, and my hair's really long. So like this, and I'm very attached to my hair, so it's very traumatic for me, but just seeing those like little hair, I was like, and it was like a weird patch. So I was like, oh my gosh, there's like little tiny hairs sticking up, and I was so excited. Like, so I would take pictures of that moment, and try to just see a little bit more. And yeah, it is pretty amazing. I went to the hairdresser, I think, oh gosh, a couple weeks ago, and she was just like, oh my gosh, look at this growth. And she like pulled out the patch, that's just really, getting super long now. And she was really impressed. So mhm.
And as you continue doing the program and as you continue to see hair growth, how seamless was it for you? So in the beginning, yes, there's a lot of information, and just like anything new, there is a little bit of a learning curve. And then after that, was it smooth sailing?
It becomes a lifestyle, so I'm pretty used to it now.
In regards to your feelings of where you were maybe a year or two ago with trying to figure things out on your own, seeing multiple doctors, professionals, dermatologists, and then versus not seeing those results, right, with any of the medications or the cortisone shots, and then finally coming to the Alopecia Angel program. How do you feel now?
So much better. I mean, I was really in a devastating spot. Like, I was blessed in the sense that my spots weren't like super visible. Like I could hide them with hair up or a ponytail or things like that, but I couldn't wear my hair down the way I wanted or like I used to. And so that was really, really depressing. I don't even know. It really made me kind of not want to do anything. It made me not want to like go swimming with my kids. I didn't even want to think about like getting my hair wet or like being out in public where it's super windy or something like that, you know. So right now, I mean, it just feels so good to know that I can wear my hair down. I can, do some of those other things. And my my inner self, of course, is very happy with it, but everybody has a little bit of an appearance, confidence that they want to have, and that's really brought me back to feeling strong about myself.
Has this permeated any other area of your life? So, for example, you were saying that you couldn't swim because you didn't want to swim with your kids or maybe go out on a windy day. Did it
Mhm.
permeate any other area or aspect of your life? I mean, probably with work, covering up the spots, anything else?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was most of it. I mean, I'm already kind of a self-conscious person when it comes to like appearance. So I really had a hard time and I really didn't tell anybody. So I think that also was hard because I didn't really have people to lean on. And then when I first did that first group call with you guys, or being able to have a coaching session with you, at least gave me someone to relate to and be able to talk this through with, know that you're not alone. I think that was really helpful. But yeah, it is hard to walk through alone and trying to understand the why.
It is. It is really hard mentally and emotionally. It is
Hmm.
very taxing. Did you,
Hmm.
and your story resembles mine ever so slightly because I too didn't tell anybody. I too, hid it from the world. I too didn't
Yeah.
want anyone to know. And it is emotionally taxing. And I found myself, crying on the bathroom floor many times.
Hmm.
But now it's like all those times before. A, no longer exists, and B, I no longer am fearful of because I know I have that control in my hands with my
Right.
hair, with my health. So how do you feel now with your hair and your health? Do you feel like you have 100% control? Do you feel like you're very empowered and knowledgeable on what your own triggers are and what's causing this, on what's happening and how to mitigate it?
So much more. I've even been a little bit more aware, like sometimes, okay, if I eat something and I get a stomach ache, I'm like, or, you get super gassy or something like, oh, this food maybe isn't great for me, or yeah, that you're starting to just be a little bit more aware of some of those body signals that your body is telling you. So I'd say that's probably the biggest piece for me, being a little bit more conscious of like, oh, I ate that and I did get a headache in the morning. Like maybe that was related to something, that I had. So that piece is a lot better. I do feel much more in control. It used to just scare the crap out of me to even brush my hair because I would be like, even, I mean, it's normal to brush hair and have strands, come out in your hairbrush and things like that. But then I would overthink and be like, but now I'm like, it's fine. This is my normal, like, and I'm in control and I'm, not so stressed about every time you shower, every time you brush your hair, every time you see a piece of hair on your clothing, you're just like, okay, no, it's in its normal phase and it's okay.
Is there any advice that you would give your younger self in terms of when you were diagnosed into this whole journey?
Hmm. I wish this was like something that was taught in school or something. I mean, there's so many things you're like, why didn't I know this before? I don't know. I mean, just for your own general health. And there's so many pieces to your trainings too that I mean, I've dug into a little bit, but even the environmental factors that can go into different things. Just that awareness piece, yeah, of what you're putting into your body. And I always kind of think back to that Bible verse, your body's a temple and you want to treat it like really good. And sometimes we don't even know what we're doing to our bodies in that time. And stress for me is probably one of the biggest ones. I always thought I handled stress really well. So I think my body was taking the brunt of it. And not knowing that, it just shows up in different places. And sometimes I feel like, it was kind of a calling to be a wake up call for me to really take care of myself. Mhm.
I recall from our last podcast, which unfortunately wasn't recorded, you
Right.
had mentioned that you had migraines since you were 9 years old.
Yeah.
And then they finally went away within the program.
hmm Yeah, I've always had those growing up. They were just kind of a big thing for me. My daughter had them. I don't even know. They would just I'd get really bad ones, have to lay in the dark, put a cold rag or ice pack on my head and just be left alone. And I'll get a twinge here and there where I end up with a little bit of a headache, but it's almost manageable even if I get one without medicine. So it's like, and they're just so rare now that I get them. So that's a big I don't know. That's a big, health thing for me because those, I mean, I would literally struggle through them. I used to have to just go home and go to bed. I mean, they could be so bad sometimes to make you throw up. So, depending on how severe they are.
So now, post program,
Hmm
how are you feeling? What's a normal day for you? Do you wake up happy with your hair, with how things are moving and progressing? And,
hmm
what does a normal day look for you?
Yeah, I would say yes. I do wake up happy. I'm a pretty active person, like I said. So I wake up and I usually do my workout routine. I try to stay really active. I'm working on getting better at sleep. I am doing better, but really trying to like get myself to get good night's sleep. That definitely makes a big difference on the refreshing side in the morning. And I I mean, for me, there's always that little tiny bit of doubt that seeps in sometimes. But knowing that I have the tools, knowing that I know how to navigate it is refreshing just to be like, okay, it's okay. That last spot that I saw, it was scary, because I was like, I felt like I was on a really good, trajectory of all full hair. And then I saw a new spot and that just threw me off a little bit, but then I was like, nope, come back, center yourself, come back and get back on track and it'll be okay.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, what would you say to anybody who's on the fence of doing the program?
Yeah, I would say do it. I know it seems like there's a cost to everything, but the amount of time and money you're going to spend on the things you don't need is it's really outrageous to be honest. I mean, I was looking at my bathroom closet the other day, which needs to be cleaned out of all of the that's like serums and sprays and supplements and things were sitting in there, and I was like, I don't use any of those, so I should probably throw them away, you just you kind of overcompensate in the wrong areas trying to fix something that isn't the root of what's going on.
Any advice for anyone coming into the program that's, ready to join?
Yeah, I'd say, come in with an open mind, and, ask the questions, take your time, do the research, don't give up on it. Like start it and at least try to finish it, whether it takes you, some people, I mean, sometimes I found myself going through weeks faster, like I could get through 2 weeks in a week, and sometimes it would be like, okay, this one week took a little bit longer. Just don't quit on it. Keep going, however fast or long it takes you to get through the materials. And I took a lot of notes too of things, that just helped me where I could throw it in my phone or put it somewhere.
How much time, money, resources do you think that the program has saved you overall in regards to getting a streamlined approach of healing your
Mhm.
alopecia versus trying to figure things out on your own?
I don't know if I even want to answer that question. I did do some calculations like from the first year that I was that diagnosed. So I guess you could say I mean, oh gosh, I mean, probably 12 to 15,000, I would say I saved and then just by doing the program, not needing some of those medications or those things. I didn't have, long story short, I had great health insurance on my husband's side and he had lost his job. And then we had to go to a different health insurance and I had lost that right before I got alopecia. So it was like everything I was paying for was out of pocket and just dishing out money to go to the dermatologist and then the medications on top of it and the treatments on top of it. I mean, it just added up really quick. So I've saved thousands probably.
And overall, outside of the hair, how is your health overall?
Really good. I've been really, really happy this last year after doing the program. And I think I joined you in September of this last year, something like that. And so I've been really I to be honest, I'm not even sure I took a sick day this year. I don't think I did. I think I've only taken some for my kids. So,
Before you used to take sick days?
not a lot. I didn't get sick a lot, but just overall health has been much better.
Any parting words or anything else that you'd love to share about your story, your triumph, or how other people can also do this and, give them the hope and inspiration that healing is possible?
Yeah, I just hope that my story does touch someone or help someone somewhere down the line. Again, we've always talked about, alopecia not being in the family. We don't know the reason why. It doesn't, if it's genetic or not, we can't really figure out some of these things, but you can get through this trial in your life and surround yourself with some good support. And Alopecia Angel did that for me and it gave me the tools I needed. So yeah, I think anybody who's on the fence, it's definitely worth a try.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jenny, for sharing your story. We appreciate you so much. And I'm so excited that you've healed because I always knew it was possible. It's really about the person believing that they can do it. And then,
Great.
once they can, they're like, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
So I'm so
Mhm.
happy to showcase you, your brilliant journey, and then also accomplishing such a feat because it is an accomplishment, just like anything else. And as you mentioned earlier, without the work involved, we can't accomplish things. There is work involved to get a promotion, to graduate from college, to heal from alopecia and everything else. So you're
Mhm.
another success story. So thank you so much.
So great. Thank you, Joanna.